It's Kimberly with Knit for Brains, and again, welcome to my podcast and to my channel. Today, I am coming to you from Ashland, Oregon. So Ashland, Oregon is just north of the California border. We're heading into Redding today, which is just on the inside of the California border. So we're going to be about 2 hours away. It's going to be our last stop in Oregon as we're heading back home, back down from Seattle back to San Diego. And so, as you know, I have been doing this local yarn store road trip, which kind of morphed into this, which, best laid plans, this actually is so much of a better idea than what I had originally planned, which is just that I'm going in and I'm talking to these merchants, these local yarn stores who were able to stay open during COVID, who have storefronts, and who, really are just kind of pulling it all together. So today I found Websters, and it's located in downtown historic Ashland. So Ashland, Oregon, if you're not familiar, is a little town in the very southern part of Oregon, and they are known for their annual Shakespeare Festival. It was started back in 1935 by Angus Baumer as a cultural outlet for the area. So there's about 22,000 people that I was able to find that are full-time residents of Ashland, Oregon. But this festival brings upwards of 400,000 visitors every single year. So this town just becomes completely entrenched. The festival goes from February all the way through to October, and they show Shakespeare plays as well as just regular plays as well. So currently the 12th Night and Romeo and Juliet. So of course, in an artistic town like this, you're going to find more of an artist kind of a flavor in the community. And the Brit and I, as we were walking around town last night, really got this feel for this kind of cool, eclectic, artistic community. And it's actually a place that we would want to come back to. We've said that we're going to come back, maybe get to see a play. We didn't get to see a play last night because we were driving in from Portland. It's a long drive. It's basically from pretty much one end of the state all the way south to the other end of the state. So not really knowing if we were going to run into any hassles and knowing we were only going to be here one night, we decided it was probably best not to purchase tickets just in case we couldn't make it. As it turns out, we probably could have, but that's okay. This gave us a chance to walk around the town and kind of get a feel for it. We're staying in a beautiful historic hotel called the Ashland Springs Hotel. And I was able to find a yarn store. Shocking. There is one yarn store in town, and let me tell you, this place is epic. So Websters was actually started back in 1978, and the name of the store, in its Websters, S-T-E-R-S, so it's actually known as two words. It's a Middle English word from the Old English, and it means a Webster or a female weaver, from the Webian to weave, like the Old English weapon or to weave. So basically it's an Old English term tying back in with the whole Shakespeare idea and the concept. And that's the name of the store, Webster's. Now, it is one of the most comprehensive stores that I've come across on this trip, and I've seen some pretty unique stores. As you've seen, we saw scraps, which was very different from everything else. We saw so much yarn in Seattle. We saw Tidewaters down in Newport. And then we saw My Yarn in Crescent City. So this store is very different in the sense that in the front of the store, they have the art to wear section. So they have clothing and earrings and jewelry and notions and beautiful handmade things. And then in the back of the store, they have art, to create, to wear. So they have a huge selection of yarns, of course, some local yarns. And then in the back, where the store originally started, was this very small little room. That's where they do all of their weaving and their spinning and their dyeing. And then as the store grew and expanded, they moved forward to the front of the store. Now, when you come to the front of the store, there's actually some really cool brick facades on either side. And what you'll find is that the front of the store, the main part of the store now, was actually more like an alleyway between two buildings. And as they expanded the store out, they then built a roof over the top. And so it's got this really cool brick facade on both sides. The yarn there is incredible. I was able to talk to Laurel, who is the owner of the store. She recently purchased the store, I think back in 2020. Now, what was really nice about this store, interesting, is because they've just been progressive. They actually have an online presence, even an international online presence, and that was set up before COVID. So when COVID hit and everybody shut down, everybody flocked to their online presence, and that is what really kept this store going through COVID. Thank goodness. So they already had a really dynamic online presence, whereas a lot of these stores that we found or that didn't make it through COVID didn't have an online presence. And when you're trying to get that set up, you're already kind of standing behind the eight ball. So that's what really kept these guys going. But they have all kinds of classes and events. They were doing online classes during COVID. They've just got an amazing schedule of classes, of knowledge. Everyone in that store was so knowledgeable and so passionate. I got to talk to most of the sales associates as well as Laurel, the owner. I really got a feel for the store. And it's, even though it's located in a very small little part of Oregon and part of the world, it is global. And it definitely has a global presence. So any of you can go and check them out. And of course, I'm going to give all the information below. As I always do, I tried to find some yarn, some notion that was local to the area. And so Laurel turned me on to this brand called Mosaic Moon. Now, this is actually hand-dyed out of Ashland, Oregon. So that's what I went with. And I loved, this is actually a 85% merino and 15% silk wool. What I liked about it was the colors, and this is something that these are colors that I haven't actually gone with before, and yes, I had them spin it for me. So I chose these colors just because they were a little bit different for me. It was actually, what was kind of cool is it tells you when it was created. So mine was created in January of 2023. I got to adopt it in June of 2023, and the colorway is called Night of Sunflowers. And it does remind me of that. It's got the greens, the sage greens, and the yellows, and the blacks, and the blues, and different things like that. So, as usual, I'm probably going to do a cowl, or maybe some fingerless gloves, maybe even a really pretty hat to go along with this. But this is what I ended up getting, was Mosaic Moon. Again, it's based out of Ashland, Oregon. It looks like the original dyer's name is Morwenna, Morwenna, but I'll include the website below so you can check out some of her things. And take a look here in the store at all the really cool and fun things that I found. The store is called Websters, and it is a local yarn store here in Ashland, Oregon. And this is their weaving and spinning room here, and they have all kinds of crafts and amazing selection of books. If you want to do your own felting, needle felting, different things like that. They've even got some really pretty clothing as well. And Lauren is the owner of this store. It's called Websters, and she was saying that during COVID, she taught herself how to spin. So this shelf right here is her own yarn that she learned how to spin during COVID. We all had something amazing we learned during COVID, didn't we? Hopefully we didn't gain a lot of weight, but this one's beautiful. So this is all hers, and then we've got some local yarn that was sourced here. Mosaic Moon, we're going to go take a look at some of the stuff out in the other room. This is a local yarn dyer from Ashland. And this down here is called Romney Wool, and this is local to the area. This is a local sheep farm. This is actually what they call, it's called greased, which means it hasn't been washed, and if you can actually touch it, you can still feel the lanolin inside. That's kind of cool. And then this over here is when it's been bleached and cleaned and all that kind of stuff. So if you were into getting your own yarns and spinning and weaving, this has definitely got some really, really amazing and cool things. I have found the most amazing stores on this journey. We've seen people that have just had, yarns that they sell, and then we found people that dye their own yarns, like we saw up in Newport, and people that have yarns that are specific to their areas, and it's just really, really so nice to see all of these. Now, this pattern I saw actually in a different color scheme. It's called the butterfly shawl. It's absolutely beautiful. And this one we've seen, I actually did this one myself. So this yarn over here is specific, this Mosaic Moon is specific to Ashland. So, I'm probably going to have to get some of this. This is a It's a merino wool with some silk, with a silk blend, 85% merino and 15% silk. And as I said, this is all local to Ashland. This up here is absolutely beautiful. Same brand, Murray and Company, actually. No, I take it back. This is called Sock Bleeding Heart, and this is hand dyed in Oregon. This one's really pretty. So we're going to take a look. I'm just going to show you all these different stores. Now, I was doing some research, and they have a pretty good online presence, so I'm going to give you all that information as well. If you don't know much about Ashland, Oregon, this is where they do the Shakespeare Festival, and this happens, I think it kind of is like ongoing. So you can come up here and you can see, right now I think they're showing Romeo and Juliet and also the Three Musketeers. You can come up. It's a beautiful little town. And I mean, just as you can see, really gorgeous colors. So beautiful with those ladders. It's almost like you have to have a ladder to go up to see all of these things. So there's some wool alpaca nylon. You're going to see more of your really artsy yarns here, not as much of your mainstreams, which is completely fine. This is interesting. These little bags are really cute too. So it talks about the Kitchener stitch and then the bag. So I'm just going to walk around, show you all the wonderful things that they have and what I'm going to end up. So these are not local to this area. They're still amazing and gorgeous and beautiful. Go all the way up. And again, this is their felting, weaving, and spinning part of the room. And then over here, ooh, here's our little sale section, which is lovely. They got some Noro, the big skeins, the Noro Kenzaji. You know I have some of that. We've gone through that. Sale all the way. My goodness, what a massive, beautiful selection we have here. This yarn over here, way up on top, it's a silk and linen. That was specific for this store and for this area. And this is that Mosaic Moon again, locally dyed here. And this is a Mosaic Moon Mulberry, 245 yards. Ooh, that's nice, a turmeric. And this is silk and linen, and it's really nice. It's beautiful, it's soft. Really, really lovely. Oh, I like this. A beautiful, I bet you the pattern is pretty easy using this yarn right here down below, because you know how I love my granny squares. All right, so this is, as you know, this is decision time. You know, I'm in love with this butterfly pattern. And okay. So this is what we're talking about here. This is local. And again, I'll give you all the information for the store. Moon Mosaic. This is really pretty. And now this is Murray and Company, and this is Moon Mosaic. So this is local to Ashland, Oregon. Gotta give them some love. What's interesting and nice about this yarn, I haven't seen this before, is it basically tells you exactly when it was created. And then, of course, the colorway. This is called Girl in the Fireplace. This is 85% merino wool and 15% silk. And this is called Night of Sunflowers. And I think these are both really interesting. I haven't seen anything quite. This one I think is really speaking to me. I'm really trying to step outside my comfort zone. I've picked up colors like this before. Haven't really picked up something like this before. So I'm going to have to look at the name and see which speaks to me, perhaps. And so stay tuned and see what I come up with. So much. Really nice selection of needles. Beautifully appointed store. Everything is just nice and neat and clean. Love the colors. A lot of natural going on here. Well, that's a beautiful pattern. And we even have some interesting clothes in here too. And some really cool pens, which we always love. Those are fun. Look at, I love this because there's more going on in here. So these are from Boulder, Colorado. A lot of local artisans and just, you know, independent artisans, which I always love. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, you know I love these. I actually did a review on those. Ah, cute. This is interesting. Since this is a Shakespeare Festival town, that would be a good purchase. Shakespeare on it. Okay. All right, I think we're just about done. Don't you love it? Websters. Websters in Ashland, Oregon, but again, with a huge online presence, which really helped them to sustain and thrive during COVID. They actually were telling me that some of the employees had to be laid off at the beginning of COVID, but because they were just overwhelmed with their online presence, they were able to come back to work and fulfill all of those online orders. So that was fantastic. And as a gift, as a token, they also gave me this really great tote bag that says Websters on it. And it is I love this, a close-knit community. I don't know. I've never heard of that before. You think I would surely have heard of that. So again, I got the yarn. And then I also bought for the skein that I bought, the market flowers in the Seattle market, I got a set of circular needles for that particular project in case I decide I want to start it on the road. I don't know. Shocking. So you got to go and check them out. Websters in Ashland, Oregon. Of course, I'm going to give the website below. Give them some love. Give them some LYS love. Tell them Kimberly from Kimberly with Knit for Brains sent you. And just say, you know, hey, thanks so much for staying open. They have some really amazing and beautiful stuff. And then I got this cute little book here that says Webster that I can write all of my yummy notes and things in. Thanks so much for watching, you all. We are rounding out our LYS road trip. We're heading back down to San Diego. We've got about 5 days left on our trip, so we'll see if I can find maybe one, maybe two more yarn stores, but if not, I think I've done a pretty good job of giving you some really great ideas and some great hangs along the way. So this is our Pacific Northwest road trip. Again, this is Kimberly with Knit for Brains. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing and telling your friends about us. Our numbers are growing. I love it. I love you all. I always respond to those comments. And as always, I'll see you soon.